Somebody tell me where did it go?
Who killed KJ? Come on. Who killed KJ? Who killed KJ? Thank you.
Today makes 11 months my son was found at Lowndes High School, rolled up in a mat. I was at that school the day they found my son. They treated us like nobody from day one. They're still treating us like nobody. But we declare that we're here to stay. We ain't going nowhere. They want us to leave, and when we leave, it's gonna be when they give us justice for my son.
And we're not going to rest until some form of justice arrives. I am so thankful to join this cadre of leadership in our community that is here today to say that the struggle is not over. We must continue. And I will be there with you, and I'm certainly pleased and honored to lend my voice to this effort and do all that I can.
That was so much love.
We don't have a moment to lose.
Did you see, and all of them say, yes, we saw it. Did you see the judge that he was sleep on the bench? Did you see, and all of them say, yes, we saw it. Did you see the judge that he was sleep on the bench?
Greetings. State your name, please.
Bobby Worthy.
What organization?
I'm Bobby Worthy. I'm National President for the Justice League United. I'm the Minister of Law and Justice for the New Black Panther Party, and I'm also a national board member for the National Black Man's Movement, chaired by Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz.
You also came from Waycross, Georgia, right?
Yes, I did.
What interest do you have in the Kendrick Johnson case, this lawsuit with the, finalizing the allegations against the family?
Well, the thing is, I have interest against injustice, and I think it's all racially biased, racially motivated. I actually believe that it is strictly out of retaliation against the Kendrick Johnson family for standing up against injustice, better yet, the assassination and murder of their son. But the judge was inattentive when he went to sleep not once, not twice, but 3 times and one time at the end. And I also notified all the other news teams that were him. Did you see, and all of them say, yes, we saw it. Did you see the judge that he was sleep on the bench? They say, yes, we did. Whether they're going to air that or not, well, we know the ghetto free press going to air it. Johnson family got to be the strongest family in this country.
What's your name?
My name is Reverend Larry D. O'Hara.
What's your position or what title you carry?
I'm the, I carry many titles, but as far as the NAACP, I'm the assistant president of the Waycross branch.
Are you a minister of the gospel?
Yes, I am.
All right, what do you think about what happened today?
Even the judge sitting up there asleep from time to time.
You saw him sleep too?
Yes, and when he wake up, then somebody holler an objection, and he don't know what the objection is. So then he turns around and asks, after the guy called the objection, you speak his piece, then he turn around and asks Mr. King, and Mr. King just blurted out. He just go ahead on and beat every avenue that they came across today, they got whooped today.
What's your name?
My name is Reverend Jeffrey Benoit. I'm the president of the Clayton Henry chapter of the National Action Network and a candidate for the 2016 State Representative, District 76, which covers the Conley, Fairview, Stockbridge, Forest Park, Rex and Morrow, and Rex, Georgia.
Because you call it National Action Network. Who's the founder of that organization?
The founder is Reverend Al Sharpton, who founded the National Action Network in 1991, so this is our 25th year.
Yes, Bobby, what did you say that you saw the judge doing in the courtroom today?
Sleeping.
What did you say you saw him doing?
Sleeping.
Did you see him?
Oh, he was not, and at least 3 times that counted.
I heard several other people, and I want to be on camera, that you all saw that. Now, how can you really, wait a minute. You was over, did you come to equipment with equipment 10+2 and Representative Tyrone Brooks as well?
I sure did.
Yeah, you all came for that. So, what is happening across the state of Georgia? I mean, short form, Bobby, short form. What's happening across the state briefly?
Lack of education, lack of knowledge, lack of responsibility on the parents' part down to the youth. Because we, in this country, we follow the characteristics of our leader. Now, United States of America is a powerful country. We are a powerful country. Our leaders may be a bunch of racists, a bunch of liars, but they ain't no cowards. And just as in the church, if your pastors, leaders of your churches, and this man, leaders of their churches, and they standing up. So the flock behind them got to be many. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, if the leaders of your organization and church meetings are coward, we gonna follow the characteristics of our leaders. So if your leaders over you are cowards, then the flock that follow them gonna be coward as well. And I also notify all the other news teams that were him. Did you see? And all of them say, yes, we saw it. Did you see the judge that he was sleep on the bench? They say, yes, we did. Whether they gonna air that or not, but we know the ghetto free press gonna air it.
Where did all the love go? Somebody tell me where did it go?
Who killed KJ? Come on. Who killed KJ?
Alrighty, what's your name?
Bobby Worthy.
What's going on here today again, brother?
We're here today again to continue the Kendrick Johnson case, the attorney fees, outstanding attorney fees. I think the judge has been a little bit more better. He did go to sleep a few times, but at least this time he did some things that I think he was kind of fair today. I think he was way better a whole lot better than what he was doing.
It seems like he's dropping a lot of attorney fees, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're definitely not going to get what they thought they was.
Well, he did that this morning. Before you got here, he was doing it, and it seems as if, though, there's something strange in this case altogether. But it's very interesting. Things was kind of slow. But this morning, I didn't see him sleeping that much this morning. But Jackie said she got him, he was sleeping this morning as well. But this afternoon, he just couldn't keep his eyes open.
Yeah, but at least this time he stood up when he got tired. He allowed everybody else to stand up when they got tired.
Well, that let you know he was sleeping.
Yeah.
But don't you think that if he have some breaks, it would eliminate some of this? He don't have no breaks.
Yeah. I think it would be have a couple more breaks. I still think they're trying to kind of rush this to get it over with. Because I guess it's maybe boring to them, but it definitely ain't boring to the Johnson family. They have to pay out some attorney fees. And notice that he did say, they don't say that I have to give attorney fees. They say I may give attorney fees. You know what I'm saying? That he did speak on that and everything. Only thing that I didn't allow is I see him still allowing the defense attorneys to do whatever they want in the court. Like when the attorney was arguing back and forth, raising his voice at King, the judge should have stepped in and stopped that.
I see that a lot.
Yeah,
Why, you think they're too close? Or maybe they're friends or something?
Maybe friends or something, but he should not allow that. He should intervene as the judge. Either he don't care, he was just tired and didn't realize what was going on and intended to. And but he should have immediately stopped there. Wait a minute, you just answered the question. He did at one point say, all you do is just answer the question.
He said that to Attorney Talley, right?
Yeah. So
where you gonna be back tomorrow?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be right here. I won't be late this time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's October the 3rd, 2016, and the KJ case of the family paying attorney fees is in session, and this closes out the first day of this week. We'll be back in the morning at 9:30, and it was a pretty interesting day. Question was asked, and a lot of the fees that attorneys have identified and brought up before the judge, some of them have been dismissed, and it's still going on. Attorney Talley was in the hot seat today, and he did his due diligence. And of course, Attorney King took his time as usual. Very few people was in the courtroom. We didn't see any news media. And it's kind of slow. Everything is kind of slow. But I want the people of Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia to know that the case is moving along pretty good. And as you know, it's all about the death of Kendrick Johnson, a 17-year-old high school student that was found dead January 11, 2013. He went missing on the 10th, and he was found the 11th.
Greetings. This is the Get To Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines. The case of the Kendrick Johnson family versus 8 attorneys. I tell you today in Valdosta, Lowndes County, if you're talking about a fiasco, I had no idea that this much maneuvering was going on in a case such as this. This is the first time that I have seen Attorney King stare out of the window. I've seen him in many courtrooms, but this is the first time that I've seen him. He was truly a professional. We find out that the attorney, Jim Elliott, had been asking questions, seemed like investigating, and possibly spying on. Let me just, I'm going to put a pin in that, and I just want you all to get the transcript. I'm going to do a more in-depth talk on that subject of a line of question that King put before Attorney major news media outlets are here because this is something to see. And it's sad, in my most humble opinion. I'm almost in tears because under our form of government, for what took place here in Lowndes County Courtroom today, the world should be able to see that. Not just to hear it on a transcript, but to actually see what is going on in the case of Kendrick Johnson. The death of Kendrick Johnson is a case that CNN, MSNBC, ABC here locally, WALB-TV, ABC, the Valdosta Daily Times, and all surrounding newspapers should have been here today. I'm deeply saddened. The people that were in the courtroom, it wasn't that many, but they didn't want to speak. They would not consent to an interview. They said, not now. I don't know what the strategy is, but to me, in my humble opinion, let me repeat, in my humble opinion, somebody should have said something today, but we never know. The case will continue tomorrow, but I wish Valdosta citizens could have been here today. I wish more of the Kendrick Johnson family was here today. You should have seen the line of questioning about going to the Tift County District Attorney to ask questions about the history and cases, and if not the conduct of Attorney Shaveen King. Shaveen King became very concerned. I must admit, from appearances, it's the first time that I've seen Judge Porter to lean his head to the side in amazement, I believe. It was something that you all should have seen. And I don't think the people of Valdosta and Lowndes County should ignore these attorney fees and the way they calculate these attorney fees. I'm telling you, if the other attorneys and their calculation of attorney fees is anywhere in the neighborhood of our county attorney Jim Elliott, I think there's going to be a lot of more charades in the courtroom. I'm telling you, it was something to see. I wish more people, more organizations, more pastors was here to see what took place in the courtroom. This is the Get To Free Press saying to you, you should have been here today. The Ghetto Free Press. I'm asking you to call your local television stations, your newspapers, whether it's CNN with Victor Blackwell. CNN came down here on this case. Now, where are they now? It seems like there's a pattern and practice to keep all of this information that is taking place in the courtroom, to keep it away from the people who are concerned about the safety of their children at the local school systems. How can major news media networks been so concerned in the past and now today go on strike? What's going on under our form of government? We proclaim around the world that we are a nation. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, the right to vote, the right to hold public office, the right to have our day in court. Listen, to the people of Valdosta, you need to be in the courtroom. Can't nobody report what I saw today. Nobody can report that story. You have to see it for yourself. Again, and just remember, I put in the requirements by Georgia law to be in the courtroom with this camera to record the entire proceedings. But Judge Porter said no cameras allowed. And we have to respect what he said. But my question is, what is happening to our form of government, what is happening to our right to know, and what is happening to the Georgia Bar Association when it comes down to the professionalism that we expect from Georgia attorneys and the judges appointed to the bench. Y'all had better wake up. I served 21 years in the United States Armed Forces, but I'm telling you that this nation, without changes in many areas, I'm saddened to say it, but Galatians 6 and 7 says, "For God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man sow, that shall he also reap." And St. John 8:32 says, "And ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set you free. And if they keep truth from us by banning us from the courtroom, banning us, the press, banning our right to know, then we will never be free. And instead of us going forward as a nation, as a beacon of hope to the free world, we are going backwards. And it is indeed a disgrace. It is an embarrassment to all those soldiers who suffered, bled, and died in the wars of this nation to maintain our rights to know under our form of government. Y'all can sit back, you can keep going to church, hollering hallelujah, hallelujah, and hallelujah, but don't get involved in your community. And one day you're gonna go to church and they're gonna have law enforcement cars and other agencies saying to you, "Sorry, it won't be no worship service this Sunday or this Sabbath to you who are Seventh-day Adventists. We have just taken away all of your rights. Now you do what we say, or we all gonna take you and put you in concentration camps." Once again, if you don't appreciate the freedom that you have, and if you are not willing to die to maintain these freedoms, then you don't deserve them at all, neither your children nor coming generations of children. Thank God for the real freedom fighters. And for Black Lives Matter, thank you so much. Stay the course. And to these young folk who are creating other organizations to challenge and to report the news that our mainstream news media don't give a damn about, thumbs up to you too. Once again, this is the Get To Free Press. George Boss Ryan. We report what others ignore. We got a small camera, but I report and the information is big. Bye-bye. We gone. See you tomorrow. Greetings. Today is another strange day in the courtroom here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, Georgia, in the KJ family paying possibly the attorney fees for or dealing with the death of their son. To skip right along, I don't want to go into too much of what you already know, but today the court proceedings dealing with Judge Richard Porter, in my most humble opinion, took a turn for the worse. And I'm sorry that I should have to say this. I don't like saying this, but I'm going to say it. Shaveen King at one point paused, mentioned to
the judge that he had a possible ailment starting Sunday, but he came to court anyway. And he mentioned to the judge that his wife is a physician and that whatever his problems are, I'm not even going to put it on here because I don't want to. But whatever condition he had, I guess his wife, they was trying to resolve it by taking medicine or pills. But he had a scheduled appointment for tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I think it was, and the judge pretty near told him that you could have told me about this earlier in the week. I had just heard Shaveen King state that he didn't know about whether he was going to do this or not. He stated it twice, but the judge came back and said it again. You should have told me earlier. Well, he went further to say, the judge said, I am willing to stay late this evening, and will you complete Attorney Edwards' questioning? Shaveen King, in the final analysis, said, I'll do all I can, but if you know Shaveen, he don't get in a hurry because he want to represent his clients. And so, Shaveen King, once again, I think that he was very distraught. It hurt my heart to know that King was serious about whatever his conditions are. The judge even made a statement that he too have this same type of problem. But he said, but you should have taken care of it or let me know about it earlier. So the short form was, before we went to lunch, the judge was saying that he was not going to make any arrangements. And I watched Shaveen King stand in the courtroom, and he paused there. He didn't get rude with the judge, but it got pretty pointed. And so I didn't agree with ignoring a person with a medical condition like that, but be that as it may. Be that as it may. Bottom line is that I wish that more people from the city of Valdosta, I wish that the news media could have been here, the mainstream news media had been here. We was here Monday, Tuesday, and today is Wednesday. And it seemed as if though this segment or part of the KJ case is unimportant. It's like people in Valdosta do not want to know what is going on in acquiring these attorney fees and whether the family should pay them or not. But be that as it may, I want to thank God for Kendrick Johnson's parents and those surrounding him that are willing to come and sit in the courtroom, because it often looked like it's just about their son. But there are over 3,000 children attending Lowndes County High School, and this could happen to anybody. Now, if nothing comes out of all of this, I know that the family and the good citizens of Valdosta, the state of Georgia, and America can at least say, thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, Grandma English, Grandfather Eddie, for standing up. Because if you had not stood up, they wouldn't have known about a botched investigation, a botched crime scene, a botched system of acquiring records through the Open Records Act that was blocked. They wouldn't know how hard it is to go out and do an investigation. I walk with the investigators for the KJ family. I walk the streets here in Valdosta. And as a result, I am under a 3-year, 4-month criminal trespass for not violating the law. And so I too have learned something. I've learned how God will put you in the mix to ensure that you do not leave before or after 6. So I'm still in the mix. And regardless of what people say, I am determined to have some government agency or some law enforcement agency to remove me in writing from this illegal, unjustified, disgraceful criminal trespass here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, and in the United States of America. I violated no law. I went to the sheriff's department. I talked to Sheriff Pride. I'm not going to tell you what he say because it's already on video. I went to the CID, the Criminal Investigative Department. They had nothing on me. The sheriff eventually, after I requested in writing, he don't have nothing on me. I wrote a letter to the school superintendent, West Taylor. They don't have anything on me, but yet they got me under criminal trespass, and I have the audio. I have several audio tapes, different ones. I even took audio statements from witnesses that witnessed them put me under it. But now they say they have nothing at all on me. So the question is, how in the state of Georgia can a human being be stopped and banned from public property and they violated no law? I told you all, you're losing your rights. You're losing them. But some of you don't seem to care, and some of you think God gonna work it out and you don't have to do nothing for yourself. Let me close out. When we came back after lunch, Judge Richard Porter said to Shavine King, I have reconsidered, and I will not have court tomorrow. That was right after lunch. And I said to myself, I'm glad you redeemed yourself. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I was going to be pretty hard on this video, but I cut a little slack now, because this is what he should have done in the first place. Now, I'm not a judge, and it's amazing how these white lawyers seem to have superiority. They seem like they all are friends. They seem like they're in a clique and among the slicks. Now, I know I shouldn't say that. I don't feel comfortable in saying that. But they feel comfortable in showing that in the courtroom. Everybody is looking at these attorneys, looking at their friendship or relationship with the judge. Only God knows how this thing could turn out if there was a jury trial and the jury see this like brothers from the same lodge or brothers from the same church. It just don't look good in the eyes of the public. I've had people to come and tell me about it, but I'm telling you about it because you have a right to know. Now let me close. As I said, I went to the sheriff's department, I went to the criminal investigative department, I went to the probate judge, I went to Superior Court, District Attorney David Miller's office. I left there. Then I went to the federal courts, and they ran my name. They said, there's nothing on you. And at each level of law enforcement and government, you know what they said to me? How could they do that? Then, when I went to the Justice Department in Atlanta, and when I told them what Reverend Robinson said, that superintendent told him, and we got it recorded, we got it recorded, we got him recorded. We got it recorded, and it's already on YouTube. Because we want you to know the truth. Because you cannot become free until truth comes. And so what we did, I talked to somebody, Justice Department in Atlanta, and when they said they were working something on me, and that they found something in my record, and I told them there ain't a damn thing in my record but what they want to put in my record. Ain't no drugs in my car, but those that they may plant on me in the future. So I want y'all to get ready for that. So if something happened, you'll be ready to do what must be done to show the wickedness, of this democratic system here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, and in the United States of America. But don't threaten and don't worry about what's happening, because in the end, truth, right, and justice will win. One more. I even went to the Department of Justice with this. Eric Holder of the Department of Justice. I have also gone to other areas. I'm getting ready to write the United Nations, because here I am. I violated no law, but I served this country for 21 years. So now, I'll leave you by saying this. Where's the news media? Why is it that when problems and situations arise in the black community, there's no news media? Why, wait a minute, I heard that. I heard you thinking. You thinking that I'm just acting. Well, I challenge you, without me going into detail, because I've already over-documented it. Lula Smart in Brooks County, one of the Quitman 10+2, had a 19-day court case dealing with voter rights and violating voting laws, which all 119 to 200 violations was dropped by the state of Georgia. Dropped. No news media was in the courtroom, not one day. No ABC, no CBS, no WALB. And then when the verdict came down from the jury, people was rejoicing outside of the courtroom, and they called the TV stations. Listen, they called the TV stations, and they did not come. I'm telling y'all, you can criticize me, but somebody got to do what the founding fathers of this republic said we should do. And that is, well, I'm gonna let Bobby Worthy tell you that, because he'll tell you more better than I am. Bobby Worthy, this is the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You was here all 3 days. What happened in the courtroom, and how you think? What you think about the case? It just they stopped. They said it may not go back to November. So fill the people in, because it don't seem like the news media have done a very good job in covering this. From my point of view.
Well, as you said, we've been in court quite a while, since Monday, since the court started. I wasn't in the court today very long. I had another appointment. I came late. I just got informed what happened today from George's interview. To me, I think I'm really thinking the judge is really thinking about these absurd attorney fees, well out of bounds. We do know, and I'm not going to say because it hasn't been brought out in court yet, who. Well, we do know one of the agencies have paid out some of the money, one of the local agency, government agency. I have that in writing, and I have presented it to the attorney that they paid some money out in debt, but not all completely. But like I said, they're not going to get the attorney fees out.
Don't bet on it. Don't bet on it.
Well, don't bet on it. Well, I mean, I'm assuming from what the judge said, if he's a man of his word.
I've seen him say one thing and do another, but go ahead with your story. Sorry to interrupt you, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah, it's true, and I mean, they can say one thing and do another. But it does seem like, to me, that there is some kind of favoritism, and I like to say it like this: favoritism or racism. You be the judge. Favoritism because maybe the judge knows all these attorneys. He allowed, since I've been involved in this trial, I have noticed that the judge has allowed these 8 white attorneys to run the courtroom. I mean, actually run it. I see them swear themselves in on the stand.
Have you ever seen that done before?
I never in my life seen a witness swear himself in. They said because he's an officer of the court. That's bull junk. That's bull. I'm here to tell you that. Because the law is clear on this, and say any witness, before they can give testimony in the court of law, they must be sworn in. They give testimony. But I've never seen that before. A witness with an attitude at that swear itself in. And I'm gonna say it. Jim Elliott, the Lowndes County Sheriff Department's attorney, has been very rude, obnoxious, and just disrespectful to Attorney King, and without pause, without hesitation, Attorney King, being the man he is, read on in testimony, submitted his evidence, and went round even with the judge, didn't agree with it, but it does seem like the judge is catering to all the other needs, allowing these attorneys to say do what they want from the witness stand, act like they want in the courthouse, just whenever they want to. I've seen attorneys in this courtroom object to things that Attorney King was saying. Attorney King went right on. The judge sit there and don't say nothing. You can't rule on the objection. It has to be the judge. I've seen these attorneys here numerous times does that. Maybe that's how they do it.
But what you're saying is that see, they wouldn't let us in the courtroom because if they would have let the news media in the courtroom, the people could see what you're talking about. They wouldn't have to take your word for it. They wouldn't have to take my word for it. They wouldn't have to take the pastor's word for it in Waycross or Larry O'Hara or the brother from Clayton who talked about he saw the judge sleeping in the courtroom. You've said it from day one. In fact, every case that the Honorable Judge Richard Porter has resided in, he's been asleep in the courtroom. And yet, because maybe, I'm not saying this is the case, but there's a great possibility that this may be why you don't want no cameras in the courtroom. There have been more high-profile cases than they had cameras in the courtroom, and so that might be why the news media, WSB came the other time. They wouldn't let them in the courtroom, so they ain't been back. So I didn't mean to take so long, but it's just, I want people to understand that whatever you say here today could have been documented on the news media TV camera. They wouldn't let us in the courtroom. But I understand that you started trying to do something about that. What did you do about that?
Well, I filed a open records request because I did find out in the cameras inside the courtroom. I mean, it's about 3 to 4 cameras in every courtroom. And I found out these cameras are on. Thus, I filed an open records request to get a copy of each one of those hearings that's been involved with the Johnson family, and then you will see the truth for yourself. If those cameras are working on, and if they give me one. But if they don't give them to me, it's going to be hell to pay, and they're going to have to answer to somebody why I ain't got them. But as I said, he was right. Judge Porter sleeping in the court. Now this makes me understand. If he did it in the Johnson case, who to say if a man is up for his life? I think the Judicial Qualification Commission, the state, the U.S. Attorney General, all of them need to come in and pull the records on this whole tape or wherever his judicial circuit at and see how many times during key testimony that this judge was up on the stand, sleep. And I know if he did it here, he'd do it in every case that he's been involved in.
Jackie, the mother of KJ, she told me yesterday she didn't want to go on the camera, I guess, because of her attorney, and that's a good time. I'm not going to let her go against that. But she said that every time he go to sleep, she was trying to get him, and she was documenting the time, each time that he went to sleep. I got some of them recorded myself. But my thing is that today, it surprised me because he took a pretty long nap today. And that really got me. I mean, I just looked at that one with his mouth was open. His head was leaned back, but he was asleep, sure enough asleep. And so now, if we know about this, and if we don't say anything, then how in the world can we send our sons off to war and talk about freedom of the press and freedom of religion and the right to vote and all this kind of jazz? It seems like something is happening to our rights, but the people in America are either going to sleep at the wheel or done train wreck somewhere in space. Now, go back to your point about what you've seen in the courtroom that's not typical for to be done in a court of law.
Well, mainly the trial attorneys, the defense attorney, the 8 white attorneys has basically led this case, not the judge. The judge is supposed to be the overseer, the dictator of the courtroom. He the ruler of the courtroom, but he has sit back and allowed these attorneys to say what they want, act like they want, with attitudes, get smart, and just disrespect Attorney King and even the court itself.
Let me interrupt you right here. Today, Attorney Turner kept saying negative things about Shaveen King, and they've been doing it. But today it was like as if though King couldn't take it no more. And he didn't talk to the judge. He told Attorney Turner, here's what he said: I recommend that you cease now. He said cease. I guess you can define that for me. He said, I want you to cease from that, from referring to me and what I'm doing as a shenanigan. He said, I want you to stop. And so he said it with power. And I think the people in the courtroom could feel his pain And he'd been very patient throughout, but it seemed like he just got tired of it. Then the judge responded and said to King, I expect both of you to be professionals. I'm quoting what he said. I got it documented. Both of y'all to be professional. Well, King have never done what they've done. I don't even see why he would make a statement like that, say both of you, when King never did that. But it threw him in the same box with everybody. And I'm gonna tell you, I wish to God that there would be a law in the state of Georgia that would force these judges to allow all high-profile court cases such as KJ case to be recorded and not banned from the general public.
And it's possible there may be a law, that's why they got courtroom cameras, but we, as most people and black folks, I made to say it, is uneducated and informed that we can look and see they got cameras all over the courtroom. Anything that's on these cameras inside and out, you have a right to get a copy to because that's public record.
Well, it seemed like it should be, but they're changing laws every day now. They are taking away our rights. Look at me. I'm still going to say it. 3 years and 4 months under a criminal trespass for not violating the law, and not one United. That's why I'm going to the United Nations. Nobody in the United States will address my issue. And I don't know whether you know it or not. Did you read in the paper the other day wherein somebody said it already in the United Nations? Great Britain talked about it, that how they're killing blacks here in this country, and the United Nations done weighed out in it. So I'm going to the United Nations with my situation.
Well, that's what informed. I don't know if you heard me maybe a month ago, that we are in the process of compiling a complaint to the United Nations to charge the United States government for murder charges against blacks, brutality, assassination, and basically attacking the immigrations and naturalization laws. Because when it comes to those laws, we have been uneducated through black, and I'll just explain one. There's nowhere in the Constitution that said black folks are citizens. Nowhere in the Constitution. What it says is the 14th Amendment, and the 14th Amendment was never properly rectified by Congress. Thus, the 14th Amendment does not say we are citizens, it says we are aliens of African descent.
Well, explain one more level to me, my beautiful brother. Brother, you get criticized sometimes, just like me. But did not this country get where it is today because of freedom fighters, including white right people? I met a white guy last night. I ain't gonna tell you where he was. Let me say this. Did you know what the white guy said last night? He said he was from Washington, D.C. And he said, you George Boss Rhyme? I said, yeah. He said, I've been watching your video. I probably don't watch every one that you put up. And he told me, just like the white guy that told me over there in front of Georgia military about 2 years ago. He's a young man, gave me a big contribution. Said, you keep doing what you're doing, because if we don't stand up in this country, we are going to lose all our rights. So I made a friend last night, and I'm hoping that this friend, he from Washington, D.C., he now live somewhere in this area. I ain't gonna tell you who he is, because he just, I call him a good white right person. And people don't understand. A lot of professors at BSU, I used to go to potluck with them. They like me for what I'm doing. A lot of white people across the nation love what I'm doing. And yet they gonna try to make all white folks dislike me because I'm standing up like you stand up, and like others, include some of the pastors, not all of them, but they are standing up for the best of our democracy. And I served 21 years. And it's not about black and white, but it's more about right and wrong.
That's right.
On you.
And forget about not just the white folks, the white folks, the right wrong folks.
Yes, sir. Right.
The black wrong and right folks.
That's true.
We got them. We call them bootlickers, Uncle Tom, Chicken Joe's, Thomasina's, and Tom's, Uncle Tom's.
I want you to drop this on the people. Now, we know that over in Douglas, Olivia Coley Pearson, they're trying to drive her out of it. That's all it's about. They tried to get her for voting fraud. We now got the Douglas Ford. But what I want you to talk about, don't say no, don't expose what has happened. But is there not a group of people now that have gotten together? They're going from county to county, from area to area, to connect the dots. And even to the point of the district attorneys who's sitting back and watching all this go on and doing nothing about it. Is there not people now coming together to try to get this to a larger scale, because local entities, including the state of Georgia, seem not to give a damn?
Yes, there's a group, and they're going around and have a meeting. Another meeting. This is going to be.
Don't tell them that. Don't tell them too much. Don't tell them.
I'm going to tell you too much, but it's coming in Waycross. But there's a group that's going around. You can contact George or myself. Just go on Facebook. I'm pretty sure if y'all watch me, if you're interested in getting involved or getting in with this group to attack these people. I'm like this. I'm going to say it. I have said it many times. My knowledge and my understanding of the law, that's what I'm going to use. That's what I'm going to push, and that's what I'm going to go after. If I'm going to sue, because that's the only thing that people understand. And I used to say all white people, but it's mostly white people because they're the one running everything. But it's black folks too. So I'm here to tell you, I'm going to sue till you get tired of being sued. And if that don't work, sue you till you go bankrupt. And if that don't work, then I'm going to sue your mama for having you. I'm just being honest.
In closing, if you can, Brunswick, Georgia, Francis Johnson went over there, and I mean, just give. You gonna close it out by what you say now. I'm not even gonna close it out. What I want you to say now, we went to Brunswick. The NAACP president went there and got another black brother over there who's a warrior. You remind me of Malcolm X. Mention his name because I know he don't care. And we probably next 3 weeks gonna meet with him and interview him. But what is the case in Brunswick, short form, and close out? I'm not gonna say nothing.
Well, the case in Brunswick is the way the public defenders and with handling the public defender's office and the fraud and deception, everything that's going on in Brunswick Judicial Circuit. This would even include the federal level on the Brunswick 19, where all these people was arrested without a warrant, without a supporting affidavit. But basically, Mr. Zach Larry, he is a warrior, been a warrior alone. He even stood up to President Johnson with the NAACP on what his views and what he thought. And it was good. He debated it, and he was on point. And I just hate to say it, I love him.
And he's a Vietnam veteran.
Yeah, and Vietnam veteran. And I just love, don't get me wrong, I love President Johnson. But as the NAACP president, I feel he could, as him being the NAACP Georgia State Conference president, I feel he can do more. I feel he can participate in more. And I know he has his own practice, and he has to fulfill his clients and all that. But to all the NAACP, SLC, and all of them, I see all these people can do more than what they're doing. I have been involved at one point with all of them. And we all can do more. Even I can do more. And I'm going to tell you now, if I had Donald Trump, I didn't say that loud, Donald Trump, the Trump money, if I had his money, I would